Hello there, welcome back to EU4 and the Golden Horde. Last time we had a war against Timurids. We also had a death to our Khan at 88 or 89 legitimacy, which pissed me off to a pretty high degree. Luckily enough now we do have quite a legitimacy game due to power protection here and also high prestige, which is really wonderful. I've done a little bit of checking here, and if I am to annex Shun, it's going to cost me 1903 diplo points. Xi is a little bit more, well, cheaper with 1254. Chagatai is 385. Now again, I'm a little bit unsure what I want to do here, especially if you consider everything. I think I want to keep Chagatai around until I've eaten up the Oirids, and I think we are going to attempt here to get ourselves into a war with the Oirids. I can just declare war on Shan. Shan will bring in the Oirids, but again, it's kind of a risky maneuver because I'm a little bit unsure if if Shan will actually make Oirit the war leader and thus bring in the Timurids. So I think I need to declare on the Oirit Horde, and that is going to be a pain in the arse. The only thing I can do instead is declare war on Muscovy, which will bring in the Timurids, but I don't feel like fighting Muscovy right now is a decent enough, or basically declaring war on Muscovy is a decent enough reason here to start another war. It's kind of a weird scenario, but I am tempted to basically declare war Muscovy pretty soon, but I do want to get rid of the Timurids before that, and also we do have the French to consider. They are currently messing around in Vinagia with the goal of taking most likely an eastern harbour, which is it's not beneficial to us, let's just say that. If they do end up taking an eastern harbour, then we'll most likely end up in a situation where we will be at war with them for quite a while, and potentially lose land, lose everything. My efforts to get reformed and potentially westernize will definitely be halted, etc. So I definitely need to get moving here and defeat or get the government reformed. So that is going to be the main goal. If I have to declare a war, I'll take those 21,000 revolutionary rebels. If I have to declare a war here on the Oiris without a casus belli, it might actually be justifiable, although it will, as you might imagine, be expensive in terms of both aggressive expansion. I might get more members to coalition, and also of course the fact that it takes 2 stability points, so it won't be exactly cheap, which is my biggest worry when it comes to this plan. But other than that, we should be able to do something here. I'll just have to figure out how I want to play this. That is the biggest problem right now. Of course, if I could fabricate a claim on Oris, that would be great. If I could get Shun annexed, that would also be great. They are an emirate, however, so I kind of want to keep them around due to the simple fact that they provide some extra or much needed strength. They're really useful to have around, let's just say that. So I don't see any good reason right now to get rid of them, and I think I'll just keep on fabricating claims on the Timurids provinces, and we'll basically just leave things as they are, at least for the time being, and then we'll see what we end up doing. Never mind. Get a 535, so that's good, but we're down to 64. This is basically goddamn ridiculous at this stage. Is there anything I can do here to help? No. Nope. So basically I'm being screwed, well, one little movement at a time more or less, but at least I can do a lot of the interesting stuff here. Unfortunately I can't get this thing, which would be really helpful. Not really much else I can do here. I guess we'll just continue conquering in the east. Going off the Oirids is definitely a it definitely became a important thing to do, per se. I'm also really tempted to actually go after Koch and then just vassalize them due to, well, culture-wise, I'm a little bit unsure what they actually have as their main culture. It seems to be this one, so basically here I can take a little piece of land here. It's not a lot of land, but even so, it's helpful. So I think what we're actually going to do here is declare war on Koch. They are not allied with anyone. They're basically sitting ducks. So I think we're going to declare war on Koch, and then we're going to feed them basically feed them provinces from Nepal, Vinagya, everything, and we're probably basically going to have a, well, to some degree, an army race while we wait for everything to end up, well, our way. We're going to go with Bengali, Bihari, Nepali, and Oriya. Those provinces are going to be the main targets. So I'm just going to get my forces into position here, and we'll see what we end up with. Well, we don't need to actually save more points anymore, so we're going to go with Combine here. We're going to get combat width increased by 2, maneuver value of my units by 25%, can now use slatted cannons and build conscription centers, all in all, which is a little bit useful. Not much admittedly, but I guess every little thingy magic helps. We also, I think, go for admin tech here. Might as well, there's no real reason to wait. Well, there's a little bit of reason to wait here, but the increase of time is just going to get even more ridiculous, and we're going to go with absolute rulership at level 20, and with that we get absolute monarchy and republican dictatorship. Now the funny part here is that we are actually 2 attacks ahead of Austria, same level as France, Great Britain, Scandinavia. The only thing we're like behind is a little bit in military and a little bit in, well, a lot in diplomacy, but since we're not really a big trading nation, it's not something that concerns me. Let's just be open about that. I can have another vassal, so we're going with let's see, we're going with this one. It gives less aggressive expansion. Now the funny part here is I can actually set Vinagya as a rival. So what I'm going to do is basically first declare war on Shan, get the border. Then we're going to declare war on Vinagya with the explicit goal of taking as much land as possible, sending over to Kuchir. Again, for the reason of trying to, I think I might actually go for annex and release if they aren't too expensive, because the Hindu religion could really become a problem. But again, we can hope that it doesn't. Now all that remains is just to siege. Shouldn't be too much of an issue, and I'll just get right to it, and we'll see what we end up with here. Again, should be a really simple decision. Bad news, the French actually did take a province here, and that is really bad, because that means the French can and probably will start making some moves in the area. So we'll definitely start making some moves against Vinagya pretty soon. Shan is our next target after Kuch. There we go, with the siege of Assam, the war is over. We can actually go for a full annexation here, and I think we're going to do that. It's kind of a gamble, but that way I can at least guarantee that I can hand the provinces due to basically being able to how should I put this? Assam. Scheiße, they did not have Kuch. Kuch should be releasable. Just have to find them in the list. Probably went a little bit. So they'll get these 3. The other 2 are kind of a problem, but we are going to release them anyways. And I'm a little bit unsure if I can actually sell them these provinces, since again they're not really part of their land. But I might have to take Kachin here just to be able to call this area. I have to see. I might just conquer this area myself, leave this to everything else. French colony, not a good thing at all. I definitely might have to consider not taking anything else and just trying to speed up the next idea set, take colonization ideas, and then go with this thing. That might actually be what I will have to do. Worst case scenario, I'll have to annex Xi down the line, or Shun, fabricate a claim, and then use that to wage a war for the Isle, rather than anything else, then just protect my western border. That could be one way of doing that, but no matter how this ends, it's going to be horrifying. But we are now ready for a war against Shan. It's just getting my troops back in order, and as I said, hopefully the Golden Horde will become war leader, and thus bring. No, Frenchies, you're never getting military access from me. Sorry, you're just a little bit too annoying for that. Now, just as a little bit of a safeguard here, will they take these if I sell them for free? Why? Price, neighbors. So we'll actually take these provinces. That's an interesting one. Do they have claims to it or something? No. Huh. I have a feeling they're changing the what the vassal will accept every patch or so, because it's kind of a different tale every time. So we're going with show superiority here. As I said, hopefully they will become war leader, or that is. Hopefully the Timurids will join. And unfortunately, that was not the case. So what we'll have to do here is just go brutal, siege Shan more or less ASAP, and then we'll make peace. We'll simply ignore the Oirids and Langchang. So it will be an interesting one for sure, but it will most likely result in a victory for us. That's at least what I'm hoping for here. We'll just have to see how it goes. My vassals here, Xi is actually fighting the Chang army, which again is really beneficial, because that probably means that I can catch them in the south, and thus just set up sieging squads. Again, kind of starting to become the norm here. But yeah, the plan here is now to catch them in the south and use sieging squads for everything else until, well, we solve the issue. I'm going to use a larger sieging squad down in the south here as a, well, secondary backup, if you will. But all in all, we should be set now to win this war without too much fuss. There we go. As you can see, we did catch the army on return, and Shan basically is they're out of the game. We have solved our issues in that regard. All that really remains now is siege everything, and then we are, well, happy per se. So I'm just going to set that up, and the war should be over pretty damn soon. Again, the goal here is to take this area here, and potentially try and take Kachin and Kantong even, and see if I can sell it to Qi. If not, I'll just core it myself. Of course, depending on the cost for this area here first and foremost in overextension, etc. So there's a lot of things that needs to go our way if that is to happen. So I'll just allow the sieges to finish, and then I'll get back to you. And there we go. The entire country has been sieged, and with that, we can now go ahead and make a peace deal here. Unfortunately, everything they own is, well, in lack of a better word, bloody expensive. So I don't think I can take anything more than the deal that's already on the table, which is again a little bit annoying. So I think we're going to cut down a little bit, because also it is actually a bloody expensive deal. So I think we'll go with something like this instead. Sorry, I can call this myself if the need arises. And again, 84% overextension is a little bit, well, extensive, but it's something that we can live with, and something that we should be able to, well, as I said, survive. So we'll send this. It's a pretty expensive deal per se, but it's more or less just experimenting here. So if they will buy this, then everything is happy. But as you can see, Xi does not accept the culture, which is the biggest problem. But if I sell this to the Ottomans, that solves most of my overextension issue, as you can see here. But even so, I still will need to wait for Conch to start coring stuff until I can, well, sell things to them. So I'm tempted to wait for the war with, or basically them coring Li Safa Ing here before we start a war against the Vinagyas here. So I'll consider what we'll do, and then I'll get back to you pretty soon. Well, they wouldn't actually take this because it was not the right religion. I've also decided to call Rajabara here myself and keep it. Cost me 75 admin points. Reason being that it will be used for the conquest of basically the southern tip here. I'm most likely not going to use vassals on that part. We're probably going to conquer that ourselves, and I need to be able to core it in a reasonable time, so to speak, and that is kind of what we're doing this. What I'm basically going to wait for now before we declare war is just a minor thingamajig. It's just this claim, and we're going to make another claim on the province south of it again, Costa, and then we're going to go ahead and declare war. Again, this is to make it a little bit cheaper. Again, claim on Lower Sind. So basically I got a free claim over here as well, because the Portuguese are also interested in getting their ass, or getting some getting their hands on Binangia. So in this case I think we're going to use the money to increase stability. up to 3. I'm 15 legitimacy away, and after the war with Nagia, which I have actually set as a rival, we should be pretty damn close to getting what we're after here. So I'm just going to wait a month, then we're going to declare war. Should be a pretty simple war, all things considered. We're also going to research Gustavian infantry, military attacks plus 0.5, and I can build a war college. I actually completely forgotten to build anything, so let's just go here. I need to build that glorious monument. I need to build a war college. I need to build a university, because of course I forgot to make something as simple as that. And I am now showing proper stupidity for that, which is kind of ironic, all things considered. Ironic, moronic, take your pick. But basically here we do now have everything we require to declare war on Vinagia. We're going to go with the tribal conquest again, aggressive expansion, cheap of course, and also the fact that nothing of this actually is a better deal. We're going to go with show superiority, and then we're going to take the southern lands. We're going to most likely just go straight in here, see how much we can take, and it shouldn't actually be too much of a problem. The only real issue that I can imagine here is that, as you can see, they do actually have quite a bit of force. They are, surprisingly enough, a force to be reckoned with even after their current losses, so I kind of have to play this a little bit careful, but we are going to be the aggressor, and I could also move forces into Upper and Lower Sind, so it's not like I am in a really troublesome situation here. We are definitely the ones that will be the aggressor, per se, but we're going to fight this war next time. I'll see you then. Feel free to comment in the praise, criticism, anything really, and the reason why I've chosen Vinagio just last year as a rival rather than Timurids, Vinagio is bigger, meaning I can take more provinces, which again leads to higher power protection. Really useful. But I'll see you around next time. Tell me any advice, anything really, and hopefully we can win this next war. I'll see you next time. Bye.